I'm here with Tatiana Calderon, with Joey Han over at, we are here with Harry, and we're going to ask a few questions about Daytona. So first of all, how are you finding it here? I know it's a little chilly this week, so
What happened to this weather?
Yeah.
But no, honestly, I think it's one of my favorite places to start the year with a 24. Obviously, we have a new car, new teammates, and a lot to go through, especially like today and tomorrow. But I think I'm feeling confident and I think we're making good progress.
Practice sessions and at the Roar last week. But yeah, I mean the car is pretty good. I mean it's a fresh product to
Yeah.
the team actually, and so I just drove the car for the first time with him in December, just a few weeks ago. Well, more than a few weeks ago, and that was the first time with the car, even going around the track for the team. So I think overall the team's done a great job just to get it here, get it
Yeah.
prepped. I mean, the big thing is with these programs, you know, like we went out and we run every lap we wanted to run. So that's a big deal, especially the fact that the team hadn't seen this car that much.
It's a short off season, and obviously with Gradient, it's a brand new car, so it's kind of one of the trickiest scenarios. But I'm super proud with how everyone has worked hard during the Raw and during the race week so far. We showed some great pace this morning inside the top 5, and yeah, I think we're sort of starting to peak at the right time, hopefully.
Perfect. Do you have a preferred stint whenever you're driving? Do you like the morning, the night, the end?
I used to answer that question saying, you know, I like the 3 a.m. stint because that's when I'm rolling out the nightclub normally, so on a Saturday night. But now I'm a little bit older, I can't really use that anymore. But yeah, I mean, of course, the night special. Daytona, honestly, is very well floodlit, so it doesn't actually feel massively dark. Probably the bus stop is the darkest spot on the track, but if we go to somewhere like Sebring where it's really pitch black, it's quite different. But it's always nice in the night. Obviously you had the firework display. I think one year I had that behind the safety car, so I could actually just watch that and enjoy it. But yeah, I like the night, but of course you know, I like the sharp end of the race, and being in the car for the finish is a privileged position to be in, and yeah, that's for me where it's obviously won and lost. So I like to be in at the end for sure.
Perfect. And talking about Daytona specifically, is there a preferred stint that you like? Do you prefer the morning stints, night stints, beginning, end?
To be honest, I'm a morning person. I would rather like drive with the sunlight, but obviously this place is the lighting is so good in the night. Also it's cooler conditions, so maybe you go a bit quicker, and we like to go quick, so I really don't mind, but I'm more kind of a morning person, and I think like Joey was saying, he's kind of a night person, so I think, you know, it switches around.
I really like finishing to start with. I mean, I think everybody does, but I love to be the guy that it's on your shoulders, you know. But yeah, I mean, I honestly don't care, but it's cool to start the race because there's so many fans out on the fan walk. But it's also cool to be driving when the fireworks go off too, you know. I mean, as long as you're ready for it, and our guys they always get you ready, like, hey, it's about time for fireworks, just beware. And I've been fortunate to be the guy in the car doing fireworks sometimes, but you know, this is such a spectacle. And every year lately, we've been breaking attendance records by the way the Roar was, the amount of people. I think it's going to be another big one. But it's just a cool race. Like when you're out of the car, I have some years taken some time to drive a golf cart around and see, more so on like Thursday night practice or Fridays, the Ferris wheels going. You know, people are having fun, and when you go out in the campsites, there's people with blow up jacuzzis and
perfect, especially right now.
All sorts, for sure right now. But yeah, it's a spectacle, and people come to see the spectacle. So you know, when it's all said and done, it's all about the show, really. I mean, it's about racing and all that, but the fans come for the show. And right now, what you see in the paddock for IMSA is a ton of great race cars, a ton of great drivers and mechanics and teams, and that ultimately becomes a great show.
Yeah. Thinking over the bus stop out there, do you prefer that? Are you not liking it? Like,
I like old school and grass, and that you pay the price if you make a mistake. But I think it made the bus stop a little bit slower as well, like the new curbs. But you know, it's the same for everybody, and it's still a really cool corner, especially like in the night, the visibility there. So we'll get used to very quickly.
Perfect. And mentioning the bus stop, it was painted over this year. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it's different. I mean, I think like everything, like nobody likes change, right? So I
Yeah.
think like visually it doesn't look as good, and the the profile has changed because of the curb. It is a little bit more slower now. You dive in over the first curb, and then you sort of have to go a bit wider and square the corner off for the exit. Whereas before it was a little bit more flowing. You could take more curb. It was a little bit for higher speed. So. I think it will potentially create more overtaking opportunities, and there is more space to bail out should anything crazy happen.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately it probably will be safer. But look, nobody likes change, right?
Yeah.
But we'll all be used to it. And by the time we get back next year, no one will even be talking about it.
What do you love about this track, about this race? Like, just in general, do you look forward to this race every year?
I always look forward to this race. I'll tell you, when I first started coming here, I came from Formula Car racing, and I started my first race here was in 2004, and I didn't totally get the appeal of it because my cars that I ran those years, we broke before midnight, and so I was eating a Mexican place by myself before when the race was still going on. So I didn't really get the appeal early on, and then in 2008, I drove here in the Ruby Tuesday car, and we were leading when the sun came up, and I was driving. And you see your number on the top of the pylon, and I was like, okay, I get
Incredible.
it now. I get it. Yeah, it was so cool. And so from that day on, I've been a huge fan of this race, and I've been lucky enough to win it a couple times. I won it overall, I won it in class, and so that really changes your outlook on any kind of race, any kind of track. So, but when you roll in here, you've had we finished our series finishes in October, and we start in January. So not a huge off season, but when you roll in the tunnel the first time for the Roar, it gets you all like honestly,
hyped up.
It kind of makes your hair stand up on your arms a little bit and give you a little goosebumps. So, and that is a good sign for when you start the season.
Yeah.
For
You
sure.
mentioned seeing the sunrise, seeing your number on the
Pylon,
yeah.
on the pylon. Yeah.